and welcome to this week's episode of Pull the Other One here on River Radio. This is a show where we take a light-hearted look at events in today's world and around Berkshire by smashing traditional comedy panel shows, whilst also getting to know our weekly guests in a chat show style. My name's Brian Naylor, and joining me as ever are our resident contestants. On the one side is the talented DJ and presenter, the awesome Chloe Sinclair, better known as Miss C. And on the other side, we have the host of Same Again Barman comedy nights and YouTube presenter. Some people cause happiness wherever they go. This guy causes happiness whenever he goes. It's Pratik Barman. And joining us this week is a very special guest. 7 years on the stand-up circuit, but he's been busy recently as he is a GP manager and he's been actually working in a COVID vaccination centre. He also is one of the presenters on the Advice Squad podcast. It's Dimitri Bakanov. Well, listen, Dimitri, we're going to ask you a few questions a bit later on, if that's okay, finding out a little bit more about your comedy and about what you've been up to and what you're doing. But as always, we're going to start off the show with round one. This is the round where I'll give you the subject line of a story and you have to let me know your ideas of what the story's about. Points will be awarded for any amusing or correct answers. The first question is, hundreds of what fight in a field to crown one true what?
Is it Karens?
I do hope not.
I was thinking Scientologists.
Is it Labour Party candidates for the leadership?
Oh, was that free-range Scientologist?
Can you imagine all those people together, like Labour Party candidates or Scientologists? Or it'd just be a nightmare, wouldn't it?
What, meeting up in a field to have it? I'd pay to watch that. Well,
they sometimes do these events, don't they, where they roll down the hill. It'd be quite fun pushing them down, I guess.
Don't they do that with cheese?
They do. Yeah.
Is it fighting for the crown of the king and queen of the most ridiculous conspiracy theories? Because let's be real, they're just getting more out there as the days go along. Who's going to put a microchip in John from down the road who basically is illiterate and has the attention span of a gnat? Who really wants to follow that guy around with a 5G signal? Like, really?
Chloe, have you been watching YouTube too much?
No, I haven't actually, but I've seen people that do, and I've seen how it ends, and it doesn't end well.
Chloe's stolen my thunder because I was going to say anti-vaxxers.
Oh, that's one way to get rid of them, isn't it? Get them all in a big group together.
Yeah, exactly. And be like, if there's only one of you that doesn't get vaccinated, because that's what they're fighting for, not to be vaccinated, we can leave that one person on an island by themselves.
It's a great idea. Why don't they all just go and live there, and then they can all be free to do whatever they want, and it'll be fine, wouldn't it?
Do you know what? I'd rather go to the island and live there myself.
We just get on our own island and just make it a lot more fun and less whingy.
Let's do it. Anybody got an answer for me?
Is it David Cameron's advisors just fighting out about his financial dealings?
Is it debt collectors for Trump's incredible debt?
Oh, yeah. He's up every week, isn't he, old Trump?
Probably the only attention he's getting now, so...
I think I read this story, Brian. Is it something to do with people named Josh?
Do you know what? Bizarrely, it is. Yeah. Hundreds of people called Josh gathered in Lincoln, Nebraska to take part in the competition to find out who's the best Josh. I mean, I don't know why you need to be Josh. I mean, anybody surely could do. I mean, I might do one for Brian, find out the best Brian.
What would make you the winner of the Joshes? Were there like different types of like challenges and
there
stuff
were.
like that?
I'll tell you what there were. Well, the first round was rock, paper, scissors. It's madness, isn't it? And then the second round was decided by a foam pool noodle brawl.
What is a foam pool noodle brawl?
I know what the foam noodle is because that's the only way you'd get me in the sea when I went to the Great Barrier Reef. About three of those wrapped around.
I know.
This just sounds like a massive therapy session where all the Joshes get to take out their anger on each other.
Yeah, I think it is. Well, actually, it was during lockdown. The guy did it. He was 22, and I think he was getting lonely. Yeah.
How could they meet in lockdown with all these Joshes in one big group?
Well, they didn't. They waited till after. He arranged it during lockdown. And then it was actually only done last month.
So is it going to be a yearly event, this thing?
I do hope not.
Well, they could just change the name every year. They could do Karen's next year, and then they could just work it like that.
What is it with you and Karen's?
Hey, I never brought it up. I know lots of lovely Karens, which I should actually say now. It's a very sad state of affairs, actually, because I do know some lovely Karens, and they've just been tarred with that brush now.
You say that every week. I don't believe you.
I know, it's my disclaimer.
I do feel that this game is going to leave out the children of celebrities who are called like Apple and Paris.
They're not going to get a look in.
Yeah. No, there's going to be like a field of just two people wandering around going,
They held one in Wales with just Pratik Pratik, and I only turned up.
Who won?
Well, the other guy won.
Don't invite Brian. He's only just been able to pronounce it about 5 minutes ago.
Okay, congratulations. Pratik, you actually are in the lead.
Wow.
This is history in the making. Don't worry, it won't last. Here we go. Question number 2. Mum mortified as police swarm a house after neighbours spot what?
Is it Matt Hancock in the bikini?
I think everybody would be mortified.
Was it the neighbours next door having a barbecue of 7 people?
Oh, stitches. That's good. I don't know where this story is from, so I just said fresh donuts.
Okay.
Is it a large marijuana tree leaning over the fence?
What?
You said mum mortified after seeing something in the neighbour's garden. So
Yeah.
it could be like a massive marijuana tree, could it? Could it not?
No, it's not a marijuana tree. Marijuana. It's not one of them. Anybody got the answer for me?
Is it mum mortified as police swarm her house after neighbors spot weapon?
No.
To be fair, this actually happened to me because I play airsoft, and you know what airsoft is?
No.
No.
No, it's what you do when you're young and you don't have a girlfriend.
I never called it airsoft. It was called something quite different.
Can you do it when you're old and you don't have a girlfriend?
Yeah, to be fair, yeah, you can. And that's where you go to find all the eligible men now that aren't on Tinder. But no, it's basically you run around with like fake looking guns and real looking guns and you shoot each other with BBs. But yeah, you have to have a license to have one of those guns. And it got spotted by one of my neighbors in my windows and the police got called out.
Oh, no. Armed police.
Armed police, yeah.
No, what
Yeah.
a busybody.
They thought I was a drug dealer or something. But yeah.
If you were, you wouldn't have your gun in the window and displays. That would be a bit stupid.
Yeah.
Or a sign saying drugs are here.
Yeah.
Drugs are ours. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Well, that's what you call double bluff.
It is. It is. Do you know what, Dimitri? You're not a million miles away, actually. It's very similar to that.
Is it a dead body?
Very close. I'm going to give you that point, Chloe, because you're my favourite. So this is the story of a mum who was mortified as police swarmed her house because the neighbours spotted what they thought was a dead body. It was Cara Louise from Bedfordshire, a little place near Luton. And what she had done is she moved a fake corpse from behind the bins while she was gardening. It was a leftover prop from Halloween and it was wrapped in bin liners and popped in a garden. And she left it there when she went to pick up her son from school. When she returned, there were 10 armed police officers. The 3 neighbours had spotted the prop and called 999. Cara said she initially thought it was a joke, but she soon realised it was dead serious.
That's hilarious. That's making me want to play all sorts of pranks on my neighbours now, just for fun. It's been quite boring lately.
Yeah.
Might have to jazz it up a little bit by getting a fake dead body and moving it about a bit and see what happens.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, so it's 1 Pratik, 1 Chloe, and Dimitri still to score. I'm quite impressed that I've managed to hold on to the scores this long.
You've done very well.
I've usually forgotten by the end of round 1. But anyway, let's move on. This is question number 3. A woman forces friends to do what as she lies in coffin for hours?
I'm going to say cry because she wants to feel special.
Oh, that's actually not a bad guess. Not
What about forced to lie to the insurance company?
that would be a pretty elaborate way of claiming your death insurance or life insurance.
You know how people have fake marriages for passports and stuff like that? Is she having a fake funeral for insurance purposes or maybe divorce purposes?
Or trying to clear some debt?
Good way to do it. Well, it's not really. I think it would be easily noted that it was a fake with a simple pulse check.
Is it force them to listen to Gary Barlow?
Nobody should do that.
That is a fate worse than death, isn't it?
Was it a fake funeral just so she could see, you know, the sort of outpouring that she would get? Because I've seen people do that in films and TV where they sort of like have a mock funeral just so they can get all the accolade and feel the love from everyone and go through the motions.
Yeah, but people sit round, but you don't actually get in the coffin. They don't do that. So it's a bit different to that, I think.
Well, it's attention to detail. I mean, if you're going to commit to the role, you know, get in the coffin and do it properly. That's what I'm saying.
This is what method acting is all about.
That's what I was going to say. Thank you.
It's true, and you are going to get the point, Chloe, because once again, you're my favourite. Yes, this is actually the story of Myra Alonso, and she wanted to know what it felt like to die and see how many people would turn up to her funeral. So she organised a rehearsal for it and invited her friends and family to pretend to mourn. After lying in the coffin for a number of hours, Myra couldn't carry it off any longer as she had to cough. One onlooker said, "It's not the cough that carried her off, it's the coffin they carried carried her off in.
I was going to say that. I love that. But how self-absorbed do you have to be to sort of I need to see how much everybody loves me. I don't really feel like they appreciate me enough while I'm alive. I really need to take myself away and let them know what that feels like so I can get the outpouring. It's a bit self-indulgent. I mean, everybody I'm sure would like to know what that might be like, but I'm fine with not knowing. I think you don't need to.
Do you know what? Most people just go on TikTok.
and also, it's not going to be a real thing because everybody knows they're performing just to get into her will. She's like, you're gonna cry a lot. And by the way, Brian, I'm gonna call like a steward's inquiry on that because I said she forces people to cry, and then you gave it to Chloe.
Oh yes.
Yeah, but I give everything to Chloe.
Okay, cool. I didn't know the relationship there. But fine.
Don't worry, there's still time for you, Dimitri.
Question number 4. This is Dracula's Castle offers visitors what?
A free blood transfusion on arrival?
Is it free virgins?
I was going to say apologies for lying to them, it being Dracula's castle.
Was it not Dracula's Castle?
It is Dracula's castle, I think.
Yeah, but Dracula's not real.
Yes, he is. I've seen it on telly.
Is it a free subscription to the Tory party? Because they are bloodsuckers.
Oh,
Brilliant.
we're getting political now. Hard hitting.
Pratik, I'm picking up a theme with you. I don't think there's a party that you like that much.
The only party I like is a rave party, and that's about it.
Yeah.
I thought you were going to say an S-Club party or something.
Oh, that's a given, Brian. That's a great given.
I was totally with you until you said that, Pratik. I saw something along these lines and it was a free COVID jab. Was that the answer by any chance?
Do you know what? It is. Again, it's not in full. I'd give a bonus question if anybody can do the entire story.
They get a Dracula tour and have a COVID jab.
There we go. Yes, indeed. So this is the story that the famous Dracula's Castle in Romania has become a COVID-19 vaccination centre with a difference. It offers a free visit to the torture exhibition for anybody attending and getting the vaccine. Some of the exhibits in the torture exhibition include the knee splitter and the thumb screw and a continuous loop on YouTube of Pratik Barman stand-up comedy.
You wouldn't want to have the jab then go through the tour because I know some people it's kind of hit them quite hard, so they could be going through the tour and then just start conking out.
There's a whole new meaning to the pain in the neck, isn't it? Dimitri, that was your bag, really, wasn't it? It's a COVID-19 vaccination centre. You should have been in there like white on rice.
You know what? Everything that happens in life right now, I just think about COVID. So the first thought that comes up, when I'm on Tinder, the first thing I think about is like, oh, has she been vaccinated or not? So I was never going to get the answer to that because I paused myself from saying COVID to everything. But now I know I made a mistake. I'm just going to answer COVID for everything else that comes up.
Lighten the mood.
Okay, and that brings us on to question number 5, which is the final question in round 1. This is a story of Thames Valley residents do what?
Do the Thames Valley residents knit the doily big enough to block out the entire sun, and hence why we've got this terrible weather right now?
Is it set up ice cream vans so they can coax out the sun?
I was going to say start a new strain of COVID.
Is it the longest socially distant limbo in the world?
Is it tune in to Pull the Other One on River Radio because it's the best show in the country?
There we go. Now we're cooking on gas. Anybody got the answer for this one? Thames Valley residents do what?
I'm going to say elect a new mayor or something along those lines. Because there's been elections now, right? I'm going to say elect a new mayor.
Yes, Dimitri, there was elections, and it's actually a new police commissioner that they have elected. Matthew Barber has been elected the new police and crime commissioner for the Thames Valley. Mr. Barber has pledged to ensure the public's voice will be heard and said his priorities, including recruiting more police officers, is tracking serious organised crime, although he wasn't specific to which areas of organised crime he would be tackling first, but it is believed that it could be the Maidenhead and Windsor Council parking charges on the High Street.
Okay, good. Now that I was close but not quite spot on, does that mean Chloe gets my point as well?
She does indeed. And at the end of round 1, Chloe is in the lead by quite a substantial amount. I don't know because I've lost count. But anyway, so Dimitri, let's go to your stand-up comedy then. What sort of style of comedy did you or do you do?
I do the style that's inappropriate for this time of day, but the style that Pratik likes because he's booked me numerous times. I've entertained his friends and followers with my dark humor.
Okay.
Yeah.
And How did this all come about? A name like Dimitri Bakanov, I guess your descendants is Russian or something?
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I'm half Russian, half Ukrainian, which basically is my first joke. I go, I'm half Russian, half Ukrainian, which makes me my own worst enemy. I'm glad you laughed because that joke is about 7 years out of date. I like is that every time there's anything on the news about Russia and Ukraine not liking each other, I'm like, oh, come on, my joke will be relevant again. It's great. But yeah, no, man, I'm from Ukraine and Russia, and I've grown up in London. So since I was 11, that's why I don't sound very fresh off the boat.
No, you really don't. I was wondering whether you'd actually been to Ukraine, if I'm honest, but you were there for the first part of your childhood then, by the sound of things.
That's right.
Did you ever do any comedy in the Ukraine? Is it a big thing over there?
So it's starting to be, and I did Ukraine and I did Russia, and it's difficult, especially coming from the UK, because I speak fluent Russian. And when I performed, you know how there's comedy so ingrained in England, and everybody understands if you sit in the front row, the MC or the comic is going to talk to you and make fun of you. In Russia, when you do that, the person in the front row gets up and tries to fight you.
Wow.
Yeah, no joke. They're like, what do you mean? I'm here on a date and you're insulting me. I'm like, you sat in the front row. There's an agreement. And he says, no agreement. I'm going to kill you. And I'm like, okay, no, that's not what I came here for.
I guess you came to the UK, you developed your comedy and your stand-up routines, and then on your visits back to Russia and Ukraine, you then tried to deliver a style of humour over there that sounds like it was difficult to land.
Oh, yeah, 100%. Because, yeah, I was here since I was 11, and my sense of humour is very much so influenced by British and American comedy. And it doesn't exist in Russia because during the Stalinist times, if you told a particularly good joke, you disappeared. So it's one of those things. And it's just, yeah, it's very fresh. But they don't have, the audience doesn't have the understanding of what's to happen.
Okay. I think we're quite good at understanding sarcasm and ribbing and taking the mickey out of each other. And most of the time, an audience, I think, would probably take it as all good humor. What is the sort of humor that does work in the Ukraine or Russia? Is it just like, I don't know, riddles or something? What humor works in the Ukraine?
Unfortunately, as close, not even as close, exactly as sexist as you can possibly be and as racist as you could possibly be.
Oh.
Not in a way that you understand it here. Essentially, comedy in Russia and Ukraine right now, and it's evolving very quickly. But when I was there, it was in the 80s and 90s here. So, you know, it's moving through the decades a lot faster because what a lot of comedians do in Russia, unlike the rest of like Europe where they speak English, English isn't that well spoken by young people in Russia. So what they do is they watch a really nice Louis C.K. bit, translate it into Russian, and then they're Louis C.K. of Russia. Yeah. But so the comedy is evolving very quickly, but it doesn't have that back catalog and history. So it's the basic jokes that are like, oh, my wife this and
yeah. Okay. So you're yet to have the PC land on the circuit in Ukraine and Russia, perhaps.
Yeah. You know, it's funny because when I was in Russia, I was talking to the comics and we were laughing at the fact that over there, the progressive comics, the ones that are on the cutting edge of it, they're trying to get the country and the stand-up to become progressive. Whereas here, the cutting edge comics are kind of going past the woke and past the PC culture and they're going, can we have less of that? So we are on a different side of the same hill sort of thing.
So are you saying there's less snowflakes?
Oh, yeah, completely. You're not allowed to be a snowflake in Russia.
Can you be a Karen?
No.
Poor Karen. We don't mean it, Karen. We don't mean it. We love you.
Do they actually laugh, or is it sort of like just a smile?
That's the best question in the world. No, they don't.
So generally, if they don't shoot you, they've found it humorous and they're happy.
It's inverse. So in England, when you're performing, there's a thing known as an applause break, right? So like as you're performing, the audience laughs along at your jokes. But if you say something really funny, they'll laugh and they'll applaud. In Russia, you come on stage and you say hello and they applaud. And you say, how are you doing? And they applaud. And you go, what the hell? And it's only when your best joke hits, then they'll go, ha.
That sounds like a nightmare.
Yeah, it sounds like an absolute nightmare. That
I'm getting anxious just hearing about it because that must be a really hard crowd to work with.
Yeah, especially when they want to shoot you.
Yeah, pressure's on. Not only are you not getting the laughs to know whether it's working or not, but you might get shot at the end. I've got to commend you for dealing with that. That sounds like hard graft.
So they pay you in rubles?
Yeah, man, because that's the currency.
Not backhanders with weapons like for your BB gun thing.
I wish.
As long as you don't get a Kalashnikov around the chops for doing a bad performance, it'd be fine, wouldn't it?
Okay. Listen, we're going to find out a little bit more about Dimitri a bit later on, but it's come to that time where you are listening to River Radio. Don't go anywhere. We're going to be back right after this.
In a world where radio stations are 10 a penny,
Can I have 10 radio stations, please? That'll be a penny, love. Thank you.
there is one radio station
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
There can be only one.
that stands out from the crowd.
I want that one.
All right. What is this thing?
It's River Radio.
There can be only one.
One that's made entirely out of syrup. What time is it?
It's tea time with Mike and Bruce.
Monday to Friday,
4 till 6. Making you smile with their outstanding features.
Yes, baby.
Features like, what are you having for tea? Whose birthday tea is it today? How was your day?
I think we better call it a day.
Yes, so make sure it's Mike and Bruce at your tea time.
Monday to Friday.
4 till 6 on River Radio.
Welcome back. This is Paul the Other One on River Radio. It is time for round 2. Is that a fib? You have to convince your fellow panelists of whether your story is either true or false. Your fellow panelists can cross-examine you and the details of your story to help them decide if your story is true or false. Points will be awarded for guessing correctly. Who's to go first?
So when I was 8 years old, I saw an old lady get knocked out by a Kalashnikov.
Was this in Russia?
No, it's Brentford High Street.
No, it was actually in Russia, yeah.
What had this lady done?
She was going to throw a brick at Lenin.
I thought she had just done a stand-up.
No, come on, Pratik. Women aren't allowed on stage in Russia. That's what happens when you leave the kitchen in Russia.
Jeez. You're not in Russia now. So that just sounds a bit far-fetched. But you were 8, so this is going back quite a long time ago. Who knows? This could have been true. I want to say that it's false because it just sounds so wrong. She was going to throw a brick at someone.
Lenin. You know Lenin.
Not John Lennon.
No.
Lennon.
You don't know who Lenin is? Right, so basically...
Obviously.
We need to work out the dates here, actually.
Yeah.
It's the dates.
No,
don't sound right.
but is it Lenin the statue or Lenin the real person?
No, Lenin the real person.
No, that can't be right. That's got to be a lie.
It's got to be false, doesn't it? I'm going to go with false.
All right, yeah. So it's completely true.
What?
Yeah, because Lenin, the real person, is lying in state in the mausoleum in the Red Square.
Yes.
And yeah, so she was old enough to have not liked him for whatever reason. And yeah, because you queue up and you go see Lenin lying in state. And so yeah, she pulled out half a brick out of her purse and went to throw it at him. And obviously there's soldiers there guarding it. So he just knocked her out with the butt of the AK.
That's disgusting. You must have been traumatized seeing that. You're 8.
I was just okay, that happens.
Is that what Russia's like? It's like a standard day out. You know, we go out, do a bit of shopping, hit a woman with a Kalashnikov, and off we go then, back to bed.
I can honestly say I am not going to Russia if that's how it goes down.
Just don't try to attack essentially a guy who's worshipped as a god.
But is it because he left the Beatles or joined the Beatles?
Okie dokie, Chloe, it's your go. Is that a fib?
I was once on a TV show with Justin Lee Collins.
I think that's true because you look so familiar. What was this TV show?
They were looking for actors and performers, and I put myself up for it based on the fact that I wanted to promote and plug all my music, and they said yes.
Can you tell me who the person is again? I've never heard of this person.
Justin Lee Collins. He's been done for some sort of sexually inappropriate behaviour, and I can actually see why, because when I went on the show and I was on stage, he tried to kiss me on the lips 3 times in front of everyone, and I had to swerve him like that, like the Matrix. Whoa there. And everybody that was with me saw that and they laughed their head off. They were like, oh my God, you didn't just swerve him once, you swerved him 3 times. I was like, yes, take that, Justin Lee Collins. I don't care that you're famous. You and your beard have more germs than a toilet seat. Jog on.
I think this has affected you quite a lot.
Yeah, it sounds like a true story.
It does sound like a true story.
There's too much feeling.
Detail for it to be a lie.
I'm going to say truth.
We're going to say true, Chloe, and a phonotherapist as well.
It was actually true. And the funniest thing is I was asked to go on the show to do this performance thing, and it was like a blind date thing. And I got blindfolded and I had 3 men come out and sing to me. And one of them was blatantly gay because he was at Campus Christmas. And I was like, I'm going for that one. And I was like, which one should? And I was because I'm such a performer, most people just go on in that, I'm going, come on guys, which one should I go for? Like I work there and everyone's going, yes, number 3. And I was like, yeah, number 3. And then we were told to go and sit down at a table on the side, and they were given a bottle of champagne, me and this blatantly gay guy. And I'm like, I said to him, you're gay, aren't you? And he said, yeah. I said, oh, this is brilliant. I said, let's totally play on this. Let's say that it's love at first sight. And we're already discussing how many children we're going to have and all sorts. And we did. And it was quite entertaining.
Wait, are you saying TV's not real?
Only reality TV shows. And we all know how real those are. Just look at the Kardashians. There's nothing real about them, including everything that they've got going on. It's just good luck to them, though.
This is a load of barnacles.
Since growing my hair, on weekends I put curlers in to make it extra curly.
Rubbish. I'm going to call that false already.
You haven't asked the questions yet.
It's quite curly.
It's already, he looked like a natural curl to me because I've got hair like that and I'm Welsh too. So it's definitely a Welsh thing.
But you're not Indian.
Yeah, doesn't matter. It's still Welsh.
I think that you and Dimitri both use curlers at the weekend, I'd imagine. if you're looking at Dimitri now, he has pretty much got a grade 2, I would imagine, skinhead.
Pratik, why?
Because I like it being curly, and I've been told that ladies like the curly hair, so I can't wait till lockdown is over and I can strap my stuff like...
You get your locks down. Lock down with your locks down.
So yeah, I can strap my stuff like famous guy Jason Momoa.
Oh, I thought you were going to say Tom Jones.
Tom Jones is all right, actually.
It's not unusual.
Yeah.
Hey.
We used that joke last week.
Nobody knew until you pointed it out.
Used all our jokes last week.
We do that every week. Come on. Why don't you just get a perm and save yourself the hassle? I've seen an old lady in the shop getting her perm done. I can see that on you.
It's the cost of it. I use my mother's curlers. They are an old set called Revlon, and I just put them in on the weekends just to get that extra curliness.
The difference between you and Jason is not just the curliness of your hair.
He's definitely a lot taller.
What do you reckon then, guys?
Can I just ask, what is your hair like then? Is it dead straight?
Yeah.
So what, you look like the young girl in the Addams Family or something?
Yeah, Tuesday, is it? Tuesday?
Yeah.
Wednesday, actually.
Oh, Wednesday.
A day too soon. I do think that's false.
Yeah, definitely false.
Oh, so Pratik, do you use curlers at the weekend?
It is true.
Oh,
not.
I knew you were going to do that.
I got you again.
Almost. I just realised halfway through my reaction that you do that every fucking week.
And do you know what? I'm slightly relieved because I thought I was going to have to stage an intervention, which would be quite difficult with the socially distant rules. We'd have to just shout at you from across your fence.
After that round, we have got Chloe in the lead. Dimitri is second, and dragging up the behind as usual is Pratik. It's time for a little break. Don't go anywhere. You're listening to River Radio. Pull the other one. We'll be right back.
The soundtrack to life in the Thames Valley. River Radio. On the web.
To the Batmobile. Let's go.
On your mobile.
Hello?
And on Alexa too.
River Radio.
That's it!
I pronounce that River Radio, but I'm always working on how I say things and I might not have it right.
Turn your radio on, and listen to the music in the air.
Yes, let's see. I think I'll turn over to the loudspeaker.
River Radio.
Hello?
This is only a test.
This radio station will remain on the air, day and night.
Across the Thames Valley.
Turn on the radio and let's have some music.
Turn it all the way up.
River
Turn it all the way up.
Radio. Spread the word.
Welcome back to Pull the Other One here on River Radio. As I said before the break, round 3 is the next one. Did I stutter? Each contestant is given a subject to talk about for 1 minute. However, repetition, hesitation, or talking complete nonsense is not allowed. If any of those occur, your fellow contestants can challenge, and if they're right, they get to take over. To complete the minute, points will be awarded. I might obviously just give it over to somebody else as well if I feel like it. So, who's to start? Let's go with Pratik. I'd like you to talk 1 minute, please, about Josh's.
So me and my friend Josh, Sargent from the Welsh rugby team, Went out a few drinks the other week down in Cardiff. It was very lovely weather we were having in Wales. Very, 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 very.
Repetition.
Yes, I think you're right to call repetition. You got 20 seconds in there. Pratik, Chloe is to take over on Josh's.
Josh's, all fighting together in a field to be crowned the number one Josh. I mean, who would have won that and how would we have won it? I mean, I heard there was a rock, paper, scissors option. I heard that there were some other challenges. Sounds like it was a bit easier.
There was a hesitation there.
I was waiting for you to notice, to be honest.
There was a hesitation. There was a couple of repetitions as well, I think. But okay, you're correct to challenge there, Pratik. You have 25 seconds left on Josh.
After rock, pivot.
Hesitation.
Hopeless.
That's got to be a record.
All right. So Dimitri, you're correct to challenge. You have 20 seconds left on Josh.
Josh has continued to battle endlessly in the field to
Your hesitation.
He called himself out.
He did. Yes, Pratik, 15 seconds.
So they were playing rock, paper, scissors, stone, and then they went to a cheese hill to roll some down a hill. And then
there was hesitation, no?
I would say that. Yeah, I would say hesitation. Dimitri, well called. Good challenge. You have 5 seconds from now.
They were rolling the hill. Oh my God! Why? Why am I trying to continue this terrible story? Guys, I'm sorry, I'm your worst guest ever. I can't even finish a sentence before hesitating.
Well, there was no challenge apart from a scream of outcry from Dimitri. So I think it goes back to the person before, which was Pratik. You have 2 seconds on Josh, starting from now.
I love Josh.
Well done. You win that point. Congratulations. Let's go to Dimitri. It is your turn. Please talk about Dracula for 1 minute, starting from now.
Many of you know Dracula as a fictional character, but Dracula is also Pratik's childhood imaginary friend. This is why he curls his hair, because he wants to look like a Victorian gentleman.
Hesitation.
Ooh, well,
not much of a hesitation. That
but
was
he was there. I'm going to give that to.
Also, he was telling a lie. I don't have any friends, whether imaginary
That's
or
why
not.
it was imaginary.
I remember my mum said to me, she said, "Who are you talking to?" I said, "Oh, my imaginary friend." And she said, "You could do a lot better than that, you know." And I realized she wasn't talking to me; she was talking to my imaginary friend.
Pratik, it's your go to talk about Dracula. You have got 45 seconds, starting from now.
So Dracula is from Transylvania, and Transylvania is Romania, which has a lot of raves on the beaches of Miami, where there's a lot of...
What?
Wait, that was a mispronunciation.
Yeah, it was.
Does that count? I was like,
I know.
What?
I sounded like a Muppet, didn't I?
You did Jason, mama. Thinking about Jason Momoa again, aren't you? I don't blame you.
I wasn't sure whether to interrupt you, because it was either a mispronunciation or you pronounced a place very, very correctly.
No, I think it was a mispronunciation. Miami. I can't even say it.
We'll take that as a mispronunciation if you can't say it now. Okay, well done. Good challenge, Dimitri. You have got 35 seconds, starting from now.
So, as Pratik said, Dracula's from Romania and Transylvania all at the same time. He's a Lord. Why? It's fine. Don't do that to me. See, I'm continuing going with the story because nobody stopped me. What Romania is famous for as well is salt mines. They've got loads of salt mines you can actually go and visit.
Repetition, hesitation, cheating.
I let him go with the rest of it, but I just thought, because he's our guest. But now I'm like, all the things.
Yes, I think, Chloe, you were right to challenge. You have 20 seconds, please, on Dracula, starting now.
Dracula, well, he's one of the vampire community. He likes to suck blood, a bit like a Tory. They suck blood and they don't give much in return. But people still vote for them. I don't know if they would vote for Dracula if he was up for nominations, but, let's give it a go. I'd probably vote more for him because at least he's doing it to sustain his health.
That's got to be a stutter.
Yeah, that was a stutter.
Okay, I think we'll give that to Pratik. I think he made the correct challenge there. And you have 3 seconds to talk about. And if you say I love Dracula,
I was going to say I was going to say I love Dracula. All right, then I'll change it.
3 seconds, starting from now.
I don't love Dracula.
Well done. 1 minute. Congratulations. Pratik takes that. I don't know.
Is Pratik in the lead at the moment?
Is he? Hell, not a chance. Okay, well well done. So that leaves us with Chloe. I would like, please, 1 minute to talk about police commissioners, starting from now.
Well, police commissioners, what can I say about them? Apart from one has just been nominated to step in the Bucks area, I believe. And I don't know what was wrong with the old one, but, out with the old, in with the new. It's always nice to have something a bit fresh. I could do with some freshness right now. I'm sick of sitting in this room and being in this house.
I was going to challenge for nonsense because you started talking about sitting in the room instead of talking about police commissioners.
I would go with that. That was nonsense. But no, that is a correct challenge. Dimitri, you have 35 seconds to talk about police commissioners.
So that's not the only new police commissioner in England, because there's also been one recently elected who was found to be guilty of a speeding offence 30 years ago, and because of that has had to lose his post. It shows crime doesn't pay, even if it's 30 years ago.
Repetition. That's gotta be repetition.
Ah, yes, yeah. And it was a hesitation.
Okay, Pratik, you're doing exceptionally well here.
Yeah.
You have 15 seconds from now. Talk about police commissioner.
So Police Commissioner Cressida Dick is the London Police Commissioner, and she goes on holiday with other police people.
Hesitation.
That was, hesitation, because he was about to say for the third time, that police commissioner. And he realised it and changed it to police people.
PC, is that the PC term?
Yeah.
Hey. Okay, so Dimitri, you have 5 seconds to tell us how much you love police commissioners.
Pratik loves police commissioners because they don't bust him for doing raids.
Well done. Yes, that point goes to Dimitri. Congratulations. At the end of that round, points are had by everybody, and some more than others. So, Dimitri, let's come back to you then. Before we move on to round 4, the podcast that you've got, Advice Squad Pod, what is that all about, and how did it come about?
It came about through the fact that me and my comedy friends couldn't perform on stage anymore. So we thought we'd find a way to scar people differently. And we started a relationship podcast where we get people to write in, or we find problems online and we solve them and we tell people what to do.
Okay. And how's that going? Are you genuinely helping people?
There's a lot of telling people to jump off bridges.
Oh, okay.
Well, sometimes relationships don't work out and you have to make it easier for your partner to break up with you. If you remove yourself, the problem is solved.
So this is going great guns in Ukraine then and Russia. I don't suppose you can walk down the street, though, in your local high street.
Why can't I walk down the street? We're getting a lot of traction in America for some reason, and Canada. I have no idea why, but North America seems to like us.
Do you think sometimes we all hear so much about the PC stuff, about people being called out, cancel culture and all the rest of it, but actually the internet and podcasts just gives us a platform where we can literally say anything that's un-PC. We can be totally almost back in the day type, but not total back in the day, but it's a little bit rawer, shall I say. Do you think that's the platform? Is there a market for that? Is that why people are looking into it?
Yeah, 100%. And it's just the fact that because it's not tied to advertisers, you're free to say what you want. And because it is a capitalist society, if people don't want your product, they just don't listen to it. And so it ends up working out like that. And yeah, the internet is given a lot of freedom. And I think that's why podcasts like mine and like others become successful, because people just want to listen to some fun. And they understand the difference and the intent between somebody who's genuinely just saying something horrible or somebody who's saying it hopefully to get a laugh. That's the difference. But I also completely understand why you can't do this stuff on live at the Apollo, because of the audience that it goes out to, and the expectation is different. So I don't blame anybody for PC culture or anything like that. I think there's a valid reason for it.
Okay. And your co-podcasters, are they also descendants from Russia?
So one guy, he's also a London comic. His name's Vitaly Volkov. He's a comic, but again, he's a comic in English in London. And another one is Sean Gorman. He's basically our version of Brian, because he's got an amazing radio voice. He's great. He just doesn't say anything funny.
I like the guy. He sounds cool.
So this is the last time Dimitri will be on River Radio. Thank you very much. So do you think you have to develop your comedy from 7 years ago and make it a bit more PC for audiences now? Or do you just keep it to the same level as you did before?
No, I keep it to the same level. And what I find actually great is I'm a much more competent performer now. But what I've noticed is a lot of audiences, they're leaning towards that direction now as well, live. And it's not the audiences that pull back, it's the club promoters that do. And that's what you'll find with a lot of things as well, where it's the people behind it who are making money off for it. They go, oh, just file away the edges and just make it smooth and palatable because they care about bums on seats, whereas the audiences care about a fun show.
So when that conflict happens, do you just go with it? And do you get booked again? Or is it like sometimes you get booked and then you're not allowed back to that venue?
So some venues will say, hey, it's just what you do is not our style, so it's okay. And I have no problem with that whatsoever, because I've got friends who've got booked for gigs and then got asked, hey, can you please not do this and this long before the gig? And the person said, no, this is my freedom of speech and I'm going to do whatever. That doesn't work. I got booked once to do a gig for a huge banking group from Brazil, and the Brazilian finance minister was there. It was at the Savoy in London. And they said to me before the gig going, hey, please, not too much swearing, but you can swear, but please don't make jokes about Brazil being corrupt. And it's like, yeah, of course, fair enough, because you can't do jokes with the Brazilian finance minister sitting in the room about Brazil being corrupt. It just doesn't work. So at the end of the day, you have to cater to the client. And if you don't, just don't take the job.
I guess it comes down to knowing your audience, doesn't it? I just wanted to know that, have you ever been in the middle of a show and said some really inappropriate joke and seen the look of disgust on anybody's face and then turned it around and adapted what you were saying?
I was with you all the way until you said turned it around.
All right. So what, have you ever done it and thought, oh, this isn't going well, I'm going to take it in another direction? Or do you just carry on bulldozing through?
Oh, no, you have to bulldoze through, especially because of how comedy works. I've set it all up and it's going to have to just drive through.
So, Dimitri, we've been talking about your podcast, which is Advice Squad Pod. Let's have a little listen to that.
Incredibly, when it comes to proposals, Vitali's at 100% success victory right now. Success rate.
Well, no, but it was a failed proposal.
No, it was a successful proposal. No. Failed marriage.
Yeah, but he essentially got the wrong answer. Because actually, she should have said no, because that way they wouldn't be divorced. Why is this so hard for you to understand?
No, when I look at you, what I'm trying to imply is, say more until it's funny. I can see you're onto something, but you need to explain why it's a joke.
Well, look, I think one option is, if you want to get married to someone else, but stay with this woman.
I don't think he wants his big day. I've been dreaming of this day ever since I was a little kid. I don't care who it happens with.
Always the groomsman, never the groom.
Divorcing is not that hard, right? So if you've been with someone for 5 years and you think, I'm not sure I will be with this person until the end of days, you'd better break up, because why would you be together and spend each other's time? Or if you think there is good, decent chance that you will be together forever, marry. If things change, divorce.
Are you advising the woman?
No,
that's what it sounds like. It sounds like you're saying,
I'm a family counsel. I advise couples.
Listen, I'm disappointed that you guys have not picked up on the biggest flaw in this. What kind of pervert proposes when he doesn't know what the answer is? Does it make sense? Dude, you've been in a relationship before.
Correct.
Like, you would have known that in the space of that relationship there has been a window where if you proposed she would have said yes.
Yeah.
Exactly. So you knew what that was. Imagine being so.
Well, no, wait,
Sean. Let me phrase this so you get it correctly. Even you knew when that window was.
Well, no. Yeah, this is my problem. In my head, I probably knew what the answer was going to be. It's not to say I knew what the answer. Like, I can't tell the future. I don't know what she was thinking. Like, the answer still could have been no. Then I don't know what I would have done. I probably would have written into someone.
But that's what I'm saying. It's like, it's so, like, I mean, dude, I've been in relationships where I knew there was a window where if I'd said, hey, do you want to get married? The answer would be yes. It would have been a terrible mistake, just like Vitali's marriage. But, like, the point is, like, you knew what that window of opportunity was, or what that correct moment in the relationship was. I think that this guy is socially unaware and socially inept, and for that reason alone, she should leave him.
But also, it could be, like, we don't know how he proposed. If they were just sat watching Friends and he just looked over and went, do you want to get married?
Yeah, he was like, oh, you know what? I really like that Ross guy. He keeps on getting married. I want to be more like him.
But like, yeah, we don't know.
You see how blank Vitali was? He was like, who are you talking about?
It's because he doesn't even understand the concept of Friends.
Great stuff. Yeah, very nice. And where can we find that? Is it advicesquadpod.com?
Yes, that's right. Advicesquadpod.com. And we're on all the platforms like everybody is.
Great stuff. Okay. Well, it's time now to move on to round 4, which is Make a Good Impression. This is where each contestant will do an impersonation of a person from a film, television, or radio show. And the other guys have to guess who it is and the character. And bonus points will be given for the show as well. Let's start off. Oh God, let's start off with Pratik.
Hello, Newman.
Is that it?
What? How am I supposed to guess that?
Yeah, you need a sentence. You need a whole sentence.
Good morning. Hello, Newman.
Oh, well, that's it makes it much easier, that, isn't it?
Wait, okay, so this is Seinfeld. It's going to be, I'm guessing what? It's going to be Jerry, right? It must be, yeah.
Jerry Seinfeld. The program is Seinfeld, so yeah.
I've got to say, I am very impressed because Pratik always just sounds like Pratik whenever he does his impressions. And the fact that you got that is just well impressive to me.
That is impressive. Double points. Well done. Excellent. Okay, and let's then go to Chloe.
I'm serious. Don't call me Shirley.
I know this.
Yeah, it's Leslie Nielsen, Naked Gun.
Yay!
No, it's not. No,
it's Airplane. It's Airplane.
No, Airplane. Well. So who got that?
Dimitri, even though I was going to answer, but Dimitri got
No,
that.
you got the guy and you got the films.
That's another point for Dimitri, and it is, in fact, Dimitri's go.
All right, guys, I can't do accents. This is how bad it is. When I first started doing stand-up, I thought, I'll try to do an Eastern European accent, being Eastern European. And people were like, why were you pretending to be Indian on stage? So I'm going to try. Terry. No, guys, you know what? Sorry. I can't do this. I'm sorry. Imagine me saying this in a Scottish accent.
Yeah, go for it.
Terry, when I want your advice, I'll give the special signal, which is me being sectioned under the Mental Health Act.
Oh, Scottish.
Yeah, imagine that with a thick Scottish accent.
Glasgow.
Yes. Damn it. See, you would have been good at Scottish.
It's a film, right?
It's a show.
Is it a show? What do you mean? A theatre show? Or
No, sorry. It's a TV show. It's an English TV show.
Is it a comedy?
Yes.
Can I have it again, please?
Terry, when I want your advice, I'll give you the special signal, which is me being sectioned under the Mental Health Act.
What era was this? In the 90s?
No, 2005 to 2012.
It's English. Is it a comedy sitcom or is it a sketch show?
It's not a sitcom, really, but it's not a sketch show. It's a single camera kind of
is it Peep Show?
No, I don't know. I don't think you're going to get this, but Pratik told me don't make it too obvious. That's the only thing. Yeah.
You nailed that.
Is there any famous people in there that we would know?
There's a guy that ended up playing Doctor Who.
David Tennant.
Yeah.
He's got to be the Scottish guy, hasn't he?
No, it's not him. It's Peter Capaldi.
Oh, I know. Is it in the thick of it?
Yes. Yeah.
I don't know the characters on that.
Yeah,
so.
it's Malcolm Tucker.
Yeah. I haven't seen that either. I know who you're talking about, though.
Not the foggiest who you're talking about, but it doesn't matter because at the end of that round, Chloe is in the lead. Then Dimitri is in second place and pulling up the rear, dragging his heels is Pratik.
This is a load of barnacles.
Quick fire round. This is the round where points are doubled, so everything's up for grabs. Question number 1. What is the name of Dimitri's podcast?
Advice Squad.
Well done. Absolutely correct. You get the points there. What's the website?
AdviceSquadPod.com. God damn it, I'm so good at this.
You are good. You are doing very well at this particular round. Where did Dimitri originally come from?
Ukraine.
Oh, he's storming it, guys. He's absolutely storming it. And the last question then, everything hangs on this one. Where was the last stand-up gig that Dimitri did before lockdown?
Top Secret Comedy Club in Covent Garden.
Well done, you're absolutely right. And you storm it because you take all those points to win today's Pull the Other One. Congratulations. I'd like to say a big thank you to my resident contestants, Chloe Sinclair and Pratik Barman, and a very big special thank you to Dimitri Bakanov. Are you going to come and see us again sometime?
I will do, especially because I love the way you guys do this. It's as fair as Russians' elections.
Or any election, do you not think?
Excellent stuff. That's it from us this week. We'll be back same time, same place next week with Pull the Other One right here on River Radio.